good? Everybody good? All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you all for being here today to discuss this critical issue that affects us all, and that's the dangers of distracted driving. In a world where technology continues to advance at an unprecedented pace, we must address the consequences of one seemingly innocent act, that is using a wireless telecommunications device from behind the wheel. Every day, countless lives are changed in an instant due to distracted driving. The allure of our smartphones, tablets, and other hands-free devices has created a dangerous epidemic on our roadways. And despite the known risks of driving distracted, many of us continue to text, make calls, use social media, all while in the driver's seat. And the statistics are alarming. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, distracted driving claimed the lives of over 3,000 people in the United States in the most recent reporting year. And that's not just a stat. It also represents mothers and fathers, siblings, friends, and loved ones who will never come home. And when we take our attention away from the road to answer a call or respond to a message, we put ourselves and our passengers and others on the road at great risk. Studies have shown that even using a cell phone while driving can be as impairing as driving under the influence of alcohol. As responsible members of society, it's our duty to recognize this issue and take action. That begins today as we formally announce the launch of the City of Huntsville's new hands-free ordinance. Slated to take effect January 1st, 2024, the law will prohibit drivers from holding wireless communication devices while operating a motor vehicle. And this isn't about government overreach. It was put in place with careful thought and planning alongside Huntsville Police Department to protect us and those we share the road with. And while systematic change won't happen overnight, Huntsville's new hands-free ordinance is an important step forward. And as someone who nearly lost his life in a crash caused by a distracted driver, I'm thrilled to see this day finally come and hope the community will offer their support, not just because it's the law, but because it's the right thing to do. And that's keeping ourselves and our neighbors safe. And I'd now like to introduce Kirk Giles with Huntsville Police Department, who will talk more about the ordinance and the public rollout over the next few months. Chief.
Thank you, Council President Little. We're just a few weeks away from a new hand-free ordinance going into effect for the City of Huntsville. This is a right step in the direction of enhancing public safety and the issue of distracted driving. So effective January the 1st of 2024, the updated ordinance will elevate our existing hands-free ordinance from a secondary offense to a primary offense. And basically what that means, under the current ordinance, we were only able to stop someone for a violation of this if another offense had committed prior to that. But in this case, with it being a primary offense, if we see the offense, we can stop them based just on that alone. So understand that once it goes into effect January 1st of 2024, for the first 6 months, all we're going to do, our department's going to do, is educate the public. And we will be only issuing warnings and not citations. Additionally, we also want to bring awareness to the community about this hand-free ordinance by virtue of billboards, public safety announcements, handouts, and even on our department's social media accounts. We all want a smooth transition to this new law, which prohibits drivers from using a wireless device, whether you're texting, talking on the phone, taking pictures or video. You cannot physically support this wireless device while you're driving. You have to have it hands-free, as it says. So the council, to reinforce the compliance, the city council adjusted the fine for the convictions within the first 24 months. It's $50 for the first offense, $100 for the second offense, and $150 for the third offense, or community service. So as we move forward at this point, we all collectively, as a public, need to embrace this important step to making our roadways safer with responsible and attentive drivers for our community. So at this point, I'd like to turn it over to Huntsville Fire and Rescue Chief Matt McFarland.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. We're talking today about distracted driving and probably with cell phone devices. And my comments are going to be a little bit different. I want to talk a little bit about the accidents in general as far as Huntsville Fire and Rescue. And one of the things I want to share with you, this is just for me. I've got notes up here of things I want to talk to you about. I'll be distracted trying to talk to you and read these notes. I'm putting them down because I'm going to talk to you from my heart. And that's the way we're going to have to need to drive our cars. When we work these wrecks, you have multiple victims. You have the victims that are in the wreck. It goes further than that. You have the victims' families if they don't make it home. And they're always a victim. You can't fix that part. And it can happen in a split second. If you think about going down the road at any speed you want to pick out, and you think about what a half a second or 2 seconds cost if you look away, you only have to move your car a foot sometimes, and you're in another lane of traffic. And when that happens, people die. People get hurt severely. For our folks, they work these day in and day out, and they take them home with them. Every child they work in a car that's critically hurt or don't make it, that rides with them a long time. Every parent that don't come home and the kids are at home and they don't come home because someone was distracted driving, that rides with a lot of people. We've got a new ordinance on the book, but I want you to think of it in a different way. One of the things that I've learned from being in the fire service for decades, I actually have the ability to write directions, or what we call directives, to tell our folks at Huntsville Fire how to operate, how we do this, how do we do that. The thing I've found is directives are not always effective. I hope this law and this ordinance is. But what I want to happen is, what I found over the years, you can't change a directive, you got to change the culture. We all have cultures. Our culture has become this cell phone is everywhere we go. We're looking at it's got our calendar on it, it's got our email, we get text messages, we read things, and that's great. It's a great tool, but there's a place for it, and it's not in the car while you're moving. We have got to change that culture. We need to start with everyone. That culture needs to be that you don't pay attention to this. There is nobody going to send you a text important enough for you to look off for any split second while you're driving a vehicle. And that's what I ask everyone to do, is not only follow the ordinance, but to take it to heart. Don't be that person that don't go home. Don't be that person that causes someone else's family not to go home. Let's all work together and change the culture of where it's just not acceptable, and we understand there's nothing important enough coming over this for us to step away from what we're looking at on driving. I thank y'all for being here, and I ask the citizens of Huntsville to please take this at heart. We have a saying in the fire service that we try to do every shift when we go on a lot of dangerous calls. Our saying, and we talk about it, our saying is everyone goes home. And that's what we plan for the next day. We want your every trip you get in your car and leave to everyone gets home. And that's what I ask of you. And at this time, I'd like to introduce Dr. Dan Ehrenberger from Huntsville Hospital.
Hello. I wanted to thank the Huntsville City Council and Council President Little, as well as the Huntsville Police and Fire Departments, for allowing Huntsville Hospital to be here today to discuss the new hands-free ordinance and the dangers of distracted driving. As technology has become an integral part of our daily lives, distracted driving is a problem we simply can't ignore. Each day, Huntsville Hospital and other medical centers across the country treat victims of accidents caused by drivers who are texting, scrolling social media, or engaging in other distracting activities while behind the wheel. At Huntsville Hospital alone, we take care of over 2,000 trauma activations per year. That's not including minor accidents. The consequences of distracted driving extend far beyond the immediate collision. These accidents also strain the capacity of our emergency departments, leading to longer wait times for everybody seeking care urgently. As medical professionals, we work tirelessly to address distracted driving related trauma cases. Other patients with critical needs may experience delays in getting the treatment they require. The ripple effect of distracted driving related accidents also places an immense burden on our medical resources, from the skilled emergency personnel to life-saving equipment and supplies. Every aspect of our health system is impacted. It is crucial that we raise awareness about the consequences of distracted driving and address this public health crisis. Huntsville's new hands-free ordinance is a great step in that direction and fully supported by our staff. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Newberger and Chief McFarland and Chief Giles. And I want to thank everybody who's here today, and especially our media partners, for helping us get the word out to the community. With the passage of Huntsville's new hands-free ordinance comes a cultural shift towards responsible and attentive driving. Let us be the example for our friends, families, and colleagues. Let us resist the temptation to send that text or answer that call while driving. Instead, let's prioritize safety of everyone on the road. We must also educate ourselves and others about the potential consequences of distracted driving. Organizations and communities can play a pivotal role in raising awareness of the new hands-free law and the dangers of distracted driving here in Huntsville. And together we can make a difference and ensure no more lives are lost to preventable and tragic accidents caused by distracted driving. So with that, it concludes our remarks, and I think everybody can be available for one-on-one interviews if you guys so desire. Thank you.